All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the alaracanfield show, the Awaken to Happiness Now global series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And today we have a brand new guest speaker on our show. She may not be new to you, but she is new to our show. And so we have Denise Mange with us, and we're going to be talking about accessing higher frequencies and realms through pets. So some of what we're going to learn with Denise today, the ways that our pets have been preparing us for this exact moment in time, how our pets and animals in the wild are handling major energetic clearings on our behalf, why it's so important to leverage portals, access higher realms, and establish our galactic connections at this time, and why being empathic is a benefit at this time, and how it helps unleash and unleash an expanded vision for this new timeline. So for those of you who don't know Denise, like I said, she is new to us, but Denise is a certified dog trainer and pet intuitive. And after a decade of working at some of the most prestigious advertising agencies in New York City, Denise left Madison Avenue to work with pets and their humans, eventually creating her own mindful pet lifestyle brand called Pet Prana. So combining traditional training techniques with energetic considerations of pet guardianship, Denise's work highlights how everyday interactions with our pets have the power to transform us. So we're going to learn a lot more about Denise and her work today as we, again, like I said, are talking about accessing higher frequencies and realms through pets. So please join me in welcoming Denise to our show. Denise, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, Laura. It's so great to be here. I've been following your platform for so many years and learning so much alongside you and your guests. So I know this is going to be a really fun discussion.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. And you're so sweet. I mean, it's like we had a discussion yesterday and I just enjoyed our conversation so much. And I don't know what you call it anymore, but I have two fur babies, right? So whenever I get a chance to talk to somebody who's working with pets and animals consciously and regularly and helping both the pets to understand the humans and the humans to understand their pets, oh, I think it's wonderful because, there are moments when I'm like, I don't know what to do right, with my pets. So I'm so glad that you are here doing the work that you're doing. And, because it's the first time that you're here with us, Denise, can you just take a moment and walk us through your journey to working with pets, working with the higher realms, doing the intuitive work that you're doing with pets and animals and humans, just so that we can get a feel for who you are and get to know who you a little bit better before we go into our discussion.
Absolutely. And I love that you started it off with bringing our pets into more discussions of, mindful aspects of our lives, because I do truly think that that is the new way forward in pet guardianship. And I think everybody here agrees that they're one of our most honest, intimate relationships in our lives. And we can really look to them and work with them, leveraging conscious parenting, which is that whole philosophy that we can learn from what they're reflecting back to us and they learn from us, right? It's that beautiful symbiotic together we up level. But I'm actually the most unlikely person to be leading this discussion, which is always a funny place to be, because I grew up in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And believe it or not, I never had any pets. We grew up in an apartment building, and my dad wasn't very fond of animals. So I always joke around that I got his fair share of animal loving. I took on the extra scoop. But when I was little, I would still feel very connected to animals and insects and animals in the wild. So even in a very urban environment like Sao Paulo, I was downstairs in the lobby just playing with the doodle bugs and the caterpillars. And I think in retrospect, that was really helpful because it really emphasized how no matter how small a being, they have a soul and they have messages to share and we can connect with them. So, growing up, I was very open, as many of us were, very intuitive. Animal communication was something that now that I know what it is, I was doing pretty regularly. And then, of course, life happens. We go through our steps, and I ended up in a corporate job in advertising. And, that too turned out to be a very helpful career to go into as far as corporate careers go, because it truly is an empath's career. It's all about tapping into people's emotions, understanding, their unmet needs, what's said, what's unsaid, reading between the lines. and really understanding the symbolism of colors and shapes, and being very intentional about what you put together in an ad or in a commercial. But I did get to a point, one of the final accounts I worked on was Purina. And I just loved, going deeper on the bond with pets and humans. But it came to a point after a decade where I was like, I got burnt out. My body shut down, said no more. So I got to that point where the universe was saying, you're ready for your next step. And so I thought if I was going to leave advertising, I was in New York City at the time, I'd open a doggy daycare, right? Because everybody needs a place to leave their pets while they're working crazy hours. But I figured since I never had a pet growing up, I should really learn about pet behavior, how to manage them. And so I got certified as a dog trainer. And part of the certification required practicum hours where you're working one-on-one with humans and their pets. And the second that happened, I was like, forget the doggy daycare, forget the brick and mortar. I like this one-on-one relationship. And so I did that for, about a year or so. And I got to that point again where I was at a crossroads and I said, bossing around pets just is not for me. Like, there's got to be something more. This doesn't feel like it fully honors that relationship with our animal companions. And like clockwork, animal communication workshops fell into my Hotmail inbox. And I would go to sessions and I'd start just walking in and I just know things about the human, their relationships, what was going on. So that animal communication started kind of happening before I even entered the session. And so kind of long story short, tapped into animal communication, opened back up to my intuitive gifts and abilities that we all have as pet parents. And it happened on a March equinox where I downloaded a whole system which matched up pet common behaviors to the universal themes of each human chakras and how they reflected each. And that kind of became the starting point of starting this mindful pet training technique. And I've never looked back. And then we layer on numerology and everything else that once we start opening up a little, floodgates open.
Absolutely. And I think you're doing a wonderful job. We talked about a little bit yesterday when it comes to, Neo and Timmy and me and my husband and just how we interact with each other and what Neo's teaching me, what I'm learning from Timmy as well. That both of those relationships are totally different, right? And so even with fur babies, to me, they're just the same as children, right? So we have a relationship. I love them, and I there's no question. And but it's a unique relationship that each one of us has. And as I was saying before we started today is the 4th anniversary of me bringing Timmy and Neo home. So 4 years ago today is when we brought Neo home from the shelter. And it was such a wonderful day experience, and he's been wonderful ever since. We were kind of worried at the beginning. My husband was like, I'm not sure about this, right? The first 2 weeks, it's like, I'm not sure about this. But then, after the first 2 weeks of adjustment period, he's been fantastic. And I will say he's a lifesaver for me. And he is, the love of my life. I just love him so much. And our connection is so strong and our bond is so strong. And I always know what he's feeling, what he's thinking, even when, he doesn't say anything, but I always know what he's thinking and feeling, right? So we get to know our pets just like we know our children, right?
And I love how you put that, that is absolutely the relationship that they've signed up to have with us. Just like the humans in our lives, we have sacred contracts with our animal companions. I truly believe that they're not only here to assist us to grow along in our path, they're here to up level and grow spiritually as well. So they get to guide us, we get to guide them, we go through our karmic lessons that we've agreed on through our soul contracts, and we build. And, sometimes with our animal companions, they are, as we said, they're truly some of our most honest and intimate relationships. And sometimes we allow ourselves to be more vulnerable and safe with them, because with humans, it's very multidimensional with humans. There's expectations, there's, plans, there's, a lot that goes unsaid, there's societal pressures. With our pets, it's truly a clean read on the energy. And what I love about it is oftentimes they serve as dress rehearsals for us. right? If I need to start imposing stronger boundaries in my life with my loved ones, my friends, my job, my career, oftentimes we start off doing that with our pets, whether it's working through separation anxiety or benevolent leadership. They serve as a perfect dress rehearsal. They help us work through it, work through the emotional aspects of it. And we get to kind of hit those milestones together, knowing that it's in a safe experimental place. It's unconditional.
Yeah.
And even our human relationships, even the most pure human relationships, we don't feel that unconditionality, if that's even a word, as much as we do with our pets. Our mothers who might love us so much, our parents, our parental figures, they get frustrated with us too, understandably, and so we never have it as pure as we do with our animal companions. And that's truly a gift that they give us.
Oh, absolutely. And the love that they share and express. I mean, I might go out of the house for 5 minutes. I come back and it's like I've been gone forever. It's like I was just here 5 minutes ago, guys. It's okay. But it's like they just love to shower their love on you, right? And I think, a lot of us, we need that love. We need that comfort of that unconditional love. And so, I feel so blessed and so grateful that we have the two of them. Even Timmy is like, I was saying yesterday, it's like, he came with issues from the shelter, right? Because he's 10 years old, etc. But he came with issues, and the people at the shelter said he has issues, blah blah blah. It's like, all right. But now it's been like 6 months, 7 months, whatever, and he's such a big baby. He's just, that's all he is. He's just a big baby, and he just wants to be loved. That's it.
Isn't that
So
what all of us want, right? It's so funny how they can really reflect back these universal human conditions, even though they're furry in a completely different species. The way that they meld with our emotions, with our energy centers, with our auras, they can reflect back very human experiences, but in these little fur bodies. It's truly transcending and amazing what they do.
exactly. So like I said, I'm so grateful to have them, in our life, and they've been lifesavers for me. I think they're wonderful medicine and therapy also for my husband with everything he's been going through the past 2 years. So they've been such a gift. And so I always tell everybody, get a dog, 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 right? Because yes, they're a little bit of work, but the love that you get from them is way more than that little bit of work that you have to do.
Right. And I will put a plug in: dogs, cats. I love cats too. Fish, turtles, insects, caterpillars, whatever you feel a connection to, right? I like to say that pets are not only, the traditional domesticated pets that we know, but I feel such a connection to a dove that comes every morning on my balcony and coos. And when I lived in New York City, there was a pigeon nest outside on the 21st floor. And I loved them as if they were a dog that I adopted and had, my entire life.
Of course.
So it's really,
Oh,
animals have this power to open our hearts.
Yes, and I have to say, I was never a cat person. I've never been a cat person, but I was just in Canada, and my son has a cat, and so he brought her over, and so she stayed with us for a few days. Oh my God, Lily Billy! I call her Lily Billy, my baby. And so I fell in love with her. And she would come and she would sleep with me in my bed, and my mom was like, "No, don't let her sleep on the bed." I was like, I'm not gonna say no. So like she felt so close and comfortable with me, like after a day. And my son was amazed, like, what? How's that possible? It's like, well, I don't know. I didn't do anything. But I fell in love with her. So she's my granddaughter.
Yeah, that's great.
Right? She's my granddaughter. But so now it's like, okay, I love her. I don't know about all cats, but I was able to, get comfortable with her. I'm just a dog person, because that's what we always had, was a dog, right? We never had cats. So it was just interesting. But we have birds right outside our window, and so we have a bird feeder, and the birds come there and they eat. Oh my God. It's so wonderful to watch nature, especially where we are, and how they add to your life, right? So animals add. Today we saw 3 deer, because when we were walking the boys, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen deer in a few days. And then of course, as soon as we're coming back around, we see 3 deer far in the distance. Like, oh look, there they are.
There they
So I love that. I love being able to see deer. I love our birds that we have so many, and there's nests in our yard as well. But it's just such a they give so much joy just by being them and being present with us, right?
And there's an explanation for that, right? Because as humans, animals have always been by our side. There's every culture has this story of paradise lost, right? One of the most popular is the biblical Adam and Eve.
Mhm.
Also, we can think about Lemuria or Atlantis, where we all as humans lived side by side with the animals. We communicated telepathically, we collaborated, we communed together, and it was very much in that unity consciousness. And then when there was the decision made that we were going to kind of, become kind of split our consciousness and become more entrenched in the duality, the animals said, we will stick with you as your guides. We will hold the remembrance. We'll anchor in the higher vibrations, your cosmic connections, your galactic knowledge. We will hold that for you almost as if, a crystal holding data so that you
Right.
remember it and we can release it little by little as you become more comfortable and you remember who your multidimensional self is. So they've been walking alongside us, guiding us on this journey. And whether it's pets in the wild, um, you know, uh, consciousness of the whales, or kind of collective consciousness of animals,
Mhm.
or our little companions, they are doing such amazing work helping us up level. And
Yes.
the way that up leveling is such a generic word that a lot of us use loosely, but the best explanation that I always gravitate toward, to explain it, is Wayne Dyer, and how he talks about the different phases, and how when we're in that 3D reality, odds are most of us have a moment of crisis, a
Mhm.
dark night of the soul, right? And
Mhm.
for us as pet lovers and pet parents, a lot of times it's we lose a pet, or our pet gets sick, or something happens to an animal that we love, and then we go into the whole that dark night of the soul, and then in retrospect we want to know the meaning, right? So in that 3D reality, we're trying to figure out why something happened in hindsight,
Right.
and then that helps us bridge into the 4D, which most of us live in, very comfortably. And that's where we start seeing the gifts in real time, right? So our animal companions barking at us, or barking at the door, or having separation anxiety, we feel that frustration. But rather than having that attitude of, us versus them, why is this happening to me? Why are they doing this to me? It's interesting. This is mirroring something back. And in real time, I'm going to figure out what the lesson is and create change. And once we're fully entrenched with that, and we've let go a lot of the energetic clutter and baggage that comes with the 3D that we're letting go into that 4D straddle, now we get to go into the 5D, where we get to manifest and bring in what we want. And it's our animal companions who are truly helping us go through those phases of up leveling, kind of bridge that 3D existence into that 5D.
Beautiful. Well, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, like I've said, Neo is a lifesaver, has been a lifesaver for me, and Timmy is also just just the love, just the love always raises my vibration like that, you know. So I will sometimes, I'll hug one of them, and as I'm hugging them, I'll be saying oxytocin, 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 right? Because that's what you get from hugging your pets, right? You get
That's
more oxytocin. So I say it out loud, and but of course, like uh, Neil lets me hug him for a long time. And sometimes it's like, are you purring or are you like growling? What are you doing here? Because he does let me hug him, but it's like, I know I overdo it. And Timmy, he also lets me hug him now, which is like, oh my God, thank God. Because at the beginning I could not, right? But now
and
I can hug him, I can touch him. It's, so I need that, right? So, as a human, as a parent, I'm a lovey-dovey, touchy-feely type of parent. So I need to hug my children. And so for me, Neo and Timmy are like my children because my grown children are not here. They're in Toronto, right? So my human children are not here. They're in Toronto. So I can't hug them. So, these guys get all my hugs and all my love. And I need to do that. I need to express that. I need to share that and give that. And they let me. So it's like, yes. It's a bonus.
It's that pre-agreement, right? And it's amazing because when we do hands-on, when we have that hands-on connection with our animal companions, or even if we don't and we just experience those joys, they have an influence on our physical body, our emotional body, and our
Yeah,
spiritual, energetic, and multidimensional bodies. And that
absolutely.
truly is a precursor to us opening up to some of our more galactic connections, our more cosmic experiences of who we truly are. So everything that they do helps us physically, emotionally, mentally, and energetically open up to the multidimensional aspects of who we are by meeting us where we need them the most.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. I forgot to mention at the beginning, so I'm going to mention it now. But if you have a question for Denise, you can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat. There was something that Lori said that I just really want to quickly share. She says that there are actually humans that believe animals do not have souls. I do not understand how they can think that, and unconditional love is the best. I agree, Lori. They may not have human souls, but they have souls of their own. And because they do have emotions, they do have feelings, they do have personalities, all of that. And I think that they do have souls as well, because they do, after they died, they do go on to heaven or wherever they go, but they do go on somewhere, right? It's not just like the physical body is dying and then that's it. So I also believe that. Denise, did you want to add anything to that?
I mean, I love that. One of our claims to fame as Brazilians is that the Brazilian Pope, authenticated that pets do have souls. So
Uh,
we love that claim. But absolutely, everything is energy. Everything that is cellular, biological, energetic, emotional, there's more to it, right? We know that matter cannot be created or destroyed. That's a law of physics or a principle of
yeah,
physics. So
yeah,
with our pets, it's no different. Our energy lives on, their energy lives on. And actually, they're amazing at showing us how to be omnipresent, how to astral project, how to play in different realms. And when we follow them with that playful, joyful, love-filled energy, we learn that we all transcend the boundaries of our physical being.
yeah,
So I would agree. And one thing I do say is whether it's I'm working with a dog training client or just talking generally about animals, it's so tough for us sometimes to hear those different perspectives, right? Because for us, it's just so not true. It so does not honor the role that the animals play here for everyone, but they're working through it, right? I
yeah.
think we're all at these different levels, and it's so wonderful that we have these communities to connect with and to bond with and share our knowledge, our wisdom, our understanding of what these true relationships are. And to go a step further with that, as pet parents, a lot of times when we do lose our animal companions, it's not everybody in our life who understands that level of grief. So having community, having, pet loss communities where we get to honor and speak about their role, that is huge. And bringing pets into this discussion of mindfulness and their true roles in our lives, it's such an honor to be able to do that with this group. And every single one of you hold that vibration. And by simply holding that vibration, it creates ripples of change.
I love that. And that's absolutely true. Yeah. And that's the thing that we, a lot of times, we when we get caught up in our head, caught up in our emotions, caught up in our stories, we're not present, right? And one of the best things for me has been, you know, being present with Neo and Timmy. It's like, sometimes they want to play, so then you got to play with them, right? You got to give them food, you got to make sure they have water, they need to go out, and all that stuff is so it brings you back into the moment,
Yeah.
instead of being here in your head and thinking and worrying. So, and then of course, when you take them for a walk, for me, I'm lucky where I live. It's so beautiful. I get to enjoy nature and the beauty of nature here when I go take them for a walk, right? And so it's they truly bring you back to the moment all the time,
They
all
do.
the time.
And one of the most beautiful ways to kind of explain it too is through Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's something that in my history, I learned that in fifth grade and it's stuck with me my entire life. And then when I started doing the dog training, it really translated into a solid model. Because just to your point, they need their basic needs met. They need safety, they need shelter, they need food. Then
Yeah.
they need, they need to feel safe. They need to have exercise. They need that emotional and energetic stimulation. And only then can they up level. And we follow that same hierarchy of needs. So by them getting us out to get exercise, by them reminding us to take a mental break, they're helping us be our most self-actualized self. So they oftentimes lead us through their needs to actually address our own. Because if left to our own devices, we're not going to take the time to take care of ourselves. But if it's involving them and their well-being, now we're in.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if it wasn't for the dogs, I would not be going outside for a walk and having the gift of nature. And I wouldn't be eating either. Like I tend to get caught up in what I'm doing. So then I forget to eat, I forget to drink, I forget to get up and walk around, so the dogs help me to stay present in the moment and also realize what's important for me, right? And what's important, I love nature, I love going outside, I love fresh air. And so if I didn't have them, I wouldn't feel as good as I do. So yeah, there's so many blessings that they bring that until you have a dog, you don't get it. And until you're fully present with your animal pet, you won't get it. But if you are, then I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about.
And I will say, but because as pet parents, we all relate to those, we love them regardless. We love them unconditionally. We will do anything. We will lay down our life on the line for them. But we learn just as much when they frustrate us, right? Because those intimate, honest relationships are going to be able to push our buttons and trigger us. So it's also being brave enough to share with other pet parents, like, man alive, I love my dog, but he got my goat today. Mm-hmm. And then we get to go deeper into, all right, what is that? There's got to be some juiciness, something to learn there. So as much as I love the perfect, well-behaved dogs and cats and pets in general, we also love it when they misbehave, because in that process, they're helping us clear out our energetic clutter so that we can start journeying into different realms, using them as access points and portals to learn about our cosmic connections, our multidimensional aspects of ourselves, and step into our leadership, find our voice, find our authenticity, establish who we are, take up space. All those amazing karmic lessons we're here to learn together.
Yes, we are here to learn a lot of lessons, and if we can learn them with ease and joy, that's so much better. Do you want to take some questions? Because we have a lot of people with their hands raised. We have questions in the chat coming up. So what types of questions,
So
you answer?
I'm different animal communicators get different sorts of information. Some get, I love this toy. Other animal communicators get a lot of medical intuitive information. What tends to come through most for me is not so much that stuff, but more about what's going on in the human's life through the pet's lens. Because when we learn about our gifts, our patterns, our abilities, our opportunities, we vibe higher, and so can they. So you might be surprised if you ask a question about your pet or your pet's behavior, that they kind of turn it back towards a pattern going on in your life and how they're reflecting it. So when you do ask your question, if you have anything, first of all, it's always helpful to know your pet's name. If it's a dog, a cat, a bird, a turtle, a fish, whatever it might be. It's helpful to know if they're embodied or if they've crossed the rainbow bridge or, disembodied. And then also knowing their name is really helpful in their species. So it would be like Neo, he's a dog, he's still with me. And then we ask a question. And usually if you have something more specific, rather than what does my pet want me to know, we can go deeper. So the more specific, the better.
I agree, totally. All right. So Linda, you want to ask your question?
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you, Denise, for this honor. I have grandbabies that are next door, grand dogs. One is Asher, and he's a Siberian or Bernese Mountain Dog with a black lab combination with a little white on his chest. And the other one is Rue, and she is a Grand Pyrenees. And she just recently came to us about 6 months ago. And the old man is not happy with her at all. Asher does not like her, and he growls at her and he barks at her all the time. And but Rue absolutely runs around and she's crazy, but she comes over and visits me a lot. In fact, 2 days ago, I heard her bark outside the door, and I thought it was Asher because they kind of have a similar bark. And I'm going, what does she think she's doing? And so she wanted to come in.
And how'd you spell Rue? Is it O-O?
R-O-O.
R-O-O. Oh, how sweet. Okay. So we talked about, Yeah, we talked about a little bit. I don't know that we touched upon numerology too much, but whenever I do a reading, I love to pull the numerology of the human's name and the pet's names, because it helps me just understand the tendencies, the patterns, and just helps the intuition to flow a little bit. And it's actually really interesting. Rue is all heart. She has that 66 energy in the repetition of the O's. So it's that amplified 6 energy, which is the divine mother, right? It's about nurturing, caring for the family, parenting. And even if you look at the shape of a 6, it looks like a pregnant woman looking down on her belly,
Oh, true.
right? And then she starts off with that 9, which is all about the old soul compassionate. So what Ruth's here doing is really helping us work through family dynamics, and especially with our inner child work. And what she's doing so beautifully is she's discounting the energy, the grumpiness of Asher, right? Asher, who's trying to keep things his own pattern, keep the status quo. She's running around. She could cower, she could be terrified, but instead she runs circles around him and she does what she wants anyway, and she doesn't take it too seriously. And so that's a really beautiful reflection of the divine feminine and the rise of Aquarius and the Aquarian energy that's coming through. So every time that you look at her, it's that reminder that you yourself, Linda, are holding this amazing energy of, as the patriarchy is going through this rebalancing, right, of kind of coming back with the divine feminine, not taking it so seriously, not being terrified of it, not, reacting to it. It's like, all right, we'll come around. Come on into the fold. And that's something that you're doing really beautifully, and you're holding that space in this environment. And I might even consider, sometimes there's a pattern with you and a parental figure. So, perhaps your dad was a little bit more of that old school energy, and people, reacted to it. So she's just showing you how far you've come and the energy that you hold with that rebalancing. And, the same way that we were just addressing earlier, that message about, how some people believe pets have souls and some do not, we have the tendency, we can get really mad at that. We can get really incensed. But if we just hold that space and love and bring them into the fold and show them a different way, they might change their perceptions a lot easier than if we try to push them into it. So what Rue is doing is really this reflection of what you're holding for the collective, which is so lovely and so needed right now, especially as we go into the 1111 energy, right, of the 1111 portal, where we have choice points. We're just surrounded by choice points right now. So you're holding the choice of inclusion. Come back into the fold. Let's all do this jovially. We're all part of the same family here.
And being a grandmother for, that's really fun.
Yeah, isn't it fun? Yeah.
Yes. So thank you very much. I'll let it go. I have another one, but I have 2 blue healers, and one is just so naughty, and she bites all the time. Her name is Lady, and she is so bite. And I wouldn't know how to, they've worked with her, but she's just that way.
So the thing about Lady is, it's interesting. She has that 4 and 7 in her name, which is that 11 energy. She really, she's bringing in, the reason she's nipping is reasons having to do with the 3rd chakra, right? Which is stepping into your power. So she's asking people in her family to take a stance. Don't play small, step into your power. And stepping into your power and leadership, right, doesn't have to be, serious and intense, but it's about stay true to yourself and your authenticity. Step into your power and be who you are here to be. Claim your creative spark, claim your output. So it's all about feeling worthy to step into your power, however that may look.
You're amazing, because that is truly what is needed in that family. And so she's bringing that out beautifully. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Alara, as always. I love wonderful. You. You know that. Thank you, Denise.
Thank you, Linda. Wonderful. Good. All right, we're going to go to Safina. Hopefully I said your name properly, Safina.
Yes. Hi. Okay. So Denise, I have a little dog named Molly, and she's a cockapoo. She's 12 years old, and she's the one with Cushing's. Yeah. She came into my life at a miraculous time. I was actually in depression, and she just lifted me right out of it. And so the thought of her leaving is a lot. Too much, actually. And it's interesting you mentioned actually Wayne Dyer. I don't know why I'm detouring here, but I've had miracles with him. Even after he died, I meditated where they spread his ashes in Maui. I ended up in his apartment that afternoon with his latest book from the co-author, Memories of Heaven. I was literally pulled off the boardwalk just through such synchronicities, and ended up in his building, and Dee is his neighbor, and ended up in her place with his latest book. And he's been miraculous with me ever since. And so I don't know why I mentioned the two.
Well, that's
mentioned
perfect.
Wayne.
Molly started talking. So basically what she was saying about that is, if the universe is powerful enough, and if you're powerful enough to have a connection with someone like Wayne Dyer and end up in his apartment of all places and be where his ashes were spread, what makes you think that you won't have that same connection with Molly when she crosses over? So a lot of what's coming through is looking at where that insecurity of her leaving and then never hearing from her again comes from. It's almost like stepping off and going into, like falling into, in New York City, they talk about, people's biggest fear being like walking the street and falling down one of those grates and not seeing it open. That's
Right.
what she's showing. She's like, these are just beliefs that other people are sharing with you. There's a connection, there's energy after death. You can communicate with them after death. So part of the biggest fear that she's showing is knowing how clearly you'll be able to communicate with her after she's transitioned. Because what she's saying is then she's scared that she's going to have to do that for other pet parents too. And she doesn't want to deal with that much loss and grief and that kind of thing. So know that whatever happens with you and Molly, it's not going to open the door to this big thing that now you have to carry forth and do for others. This is going to be intimate, but the connection is going to be so strong. Like it's just like right there. So work with that, because it feels almost like past life related, where you had this gift, people knew you had it, so they would come to you. Okay, got it. It's a past life where you lost a son to the plague or something like that, and you were able to communicate with your son, and then other mothers heard about it and they'd come to you and they'd beg you, they'd grab your hand, they'd grab the hem of your dress, and they'd say, for the love of God, communicate with my son. I lost my daughter. I just want to hear one more message from them, please. And you were so depleted by that. So this is something that's coming up for clearing, and I'm getting so many goosebumps with that.
Interesting.
But that's what's coming through.
Well, I've been able to do mediumship has come up organically for me, but then when I pursued it by trying to develop it, it kind of left. So the mediumship left. And I've been wondering, what am I supposed to do with all this? And I have a lot of paranormal activity around me as well. And I've just been kind of wondering, what do I do next? I guess I'm afraid of the loss. I'm afraid of the physical loss. It's like, I believe, I know that somehow we'll be together in a new way, but it's the physical loss. It's the loss of unconditional love in my life. And it's that.
And it has a little bit to do with, loneliness isn't the right word, but feeling the longing for someone. As we say in Portuguese, saudades, right? It's like you long for them, you love them, you miss them. It's the longing for someone else. And it's that fear that if you let other people in, they're going to grab your energy and your gifts. So right now, what they're saying is, whatever's coming up paranormally or how you're looking at it, know that this is your container and it's for you too. It's for no one but you and Molly right now. And just be at rest, like take a deep breath, releasing, being like, okay, we're good. Nobody's going to know about this. No one's going to come tugging at my hem anymore for me to do this for them now. This is for me. This is a gift that is for me. This moment is for us. And it's interesting because Molly indicates that when the time does come, there is another animal companion that's going to step right in. Not expected. You might not even end up going to shelter to get a dog. It's almost like they land at your back door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I think that's such a great question, because it's something that a lot of us as empathic people and connected, people connected to the energy, that's a big fear. We're empathic. And even when we're all starting out or we're playing with our abilities, it's almost like if you don't learn to kind of cut off the container and pull it off, you literally can feel people tugging at your energy, and it's so depleting. So that's something that all of us, those loving boundaries, creating, boundaries, not barriers, to cut ourselves off from everyone else. That's important. That's something our pets teach us in the energy. And
I have to tell you, I didn't even know I was afraid of that. I didn't know that about.
Well, feel into it. You might not know it, but you might feel it in your gut when you sit with it.
Okay.
So be with it, see what rings true. I always say pet parents are way more intuitive and knowing than they give themselves credit for.
Yeah.
So be with it and talk to her about it. I love just talking to pets as if they were my best friend, like literally
Yeah.
I'm having a conversation.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you, Safina. All right, so there was something that Safina said that I just wanted to address really quickly. She said something to the effect of that her mediumship has left or is leaving or whatever. I don't think that's true. I just think that, I don't think, like when you have gifts, they don't really go anywhere unless you say specifically, I don't want to do that. Okay. So they're still there, but it just might be a way, you need to just develop it in a different way than what you have done in the past, or what you were used to, or what you think it should be like. Maybe it's slightly different. So just be open to it in a different way. Does that make sense? Yeah, good. Just don't say that it's gone, because it's not. Okay. And I think we all have that gift and that talent of mediumship if we allow ourselves to step into it from time to time. Okay, we're going to go to Tanya. Tanya, you want to unmute yourself?
Hope you hear me today.
Yeah, we can hear you today.
So I have German Shepherd, huge German Shepherd called Duke, Duke. And this is my second German Shepherd, which is, they both have different personalities. And this one is daring and naughty and angry and whatever. I mean, we had lots of difficulties with him. But my question is, as I'm looking for a place to move, and every time I talk to the agent, and as soon as I hear German Shepherd, there is a silence on the other side of the phone, and they say, oh no, sorry, but there's no dogs in this house or apartment. And I searched for so long and so many houses, and a lot of advertisement already mentioned no pets, please. Doesn't matter the size, and I was crying and crying, because I realized that I may face a decision, either to give him away, find a good people for him, or I will be searching for I don't know how long, and I have to move. And so I don't know why I'm in this situation, and I don't know how he feel about it, because
So let's see what Denise has to say.
Oh, Tanya, I'm sorry. I know that is such a tough situation to be as a pet parent. And please know, I've worked with so many pet parents who have been in the same position. They go through that heart-wrenching back and forth, the guilt, the shame of, having to make that choice. It's an impossible choice, but it's a choice that is a gift. And I know it doesn't feel like it in the moment, but it truly is. And Duke, just looking at his name, oh my goodness, he is potent, he is mighty, he is amplified third chakra, fire, and amplified fifth chakra, voice, bark, loud. And so what he's actually doing is he's providing that opportunity for you as a energetically attuned adult to choose yourself, right? Because oftentimes when we're children, we are not able to choose ourselves, even if it means self-preservation and keeping ourselves safe. And if we do choose ourselves, it translates to a lifetime of guilt and shame. Even if it's something as simple as choosing ourselves when somebody asks us to do something and we're not able to do it, but we say, okay, I'll do it anyway. And we sacrifice something in ourselves. So what Duke is, he's this shining, big, golden energy asking you to choose you. And he actually shows me himself running in like a farm or acreage, somewhere with a big backyard. He's too big of an energy to be contained. And so he actually came here knowing that that choice would be made. And he's so proud to be the catalyst where you're able to go through that choice. He wants to take with him, if you do make the choice, because again, you have free will, but if you do make the choice to choose finding him a wonderful, loving home that's more suited to his needs so that you can find a home where you will thrive, he will take with him the guilt and shame. This feels like a turning point where you're able to get rid of feeling guilty when you say no to people, pleasing others, doing things because you're scared that if you don't, they're going to pull away their love from you. He loves you. He sees you as this beautiful heart, this energy, and he's so excited for you to be able to see that and step into it. It's almost like lifting up your chest like that even, and allowing yourself to take a deep breath. That is what's needed. That's what is going to make him the most happy, not necessarily being by your side, but seeing you do that, stand tall and take a deep, empowering breath. So please know, if the choice is here, because there's different paths and there's no wrong path, but he wants to show you that if you do choose one thing, you might be thinking in your head that he'll be devastated, but he sees it as a triumphant contribution to your development.
You are right. I never chose myself. I always lived for somebody else, and he is such a people lover, and he will play and can stay and be happy with anyone who comes into my house. So like he's just so, as you said, big and happy dog, and I'm sure he will be fine with somebody who loves him and plays with him and everything. It's me who will be feeling kind of guilty because
Well, it's a
but
lifelong pattern.
I know what you mean. I will have to, if I have to make that decision, I will find like a really nice people, because I will be choosing them, and I will make sure he's happy.
And I've
Thank
worked
you.
with a lot of pet parents who they do rehome their pet, especially when I lived in New York City. Some dogs just are not city dogs. And then they'd find a family who took them in a beach community or something, and they were still able to stay in touch. They'd get picture updates. So the relationship doesn't have to end necessarily. And sometimes it's the most loving thing we can do for our pets and ourselves. So, these lifelong patterns are tough to break. But when we have the love and beauty and wisdom of our animal companions, we have the confidence to do it. He wants you to choose you.
Thank you.
That's so powerful.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you a lot.
Good. You're welcome, Tanya. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I might have to make that decision in the next 2 years too. So it's like, oh my God, I'll be calling Denise. I'll be like, Denise, tell me what to do. Yeah, that's a tough one for sure. All right, Kathy. You had a question for Denise?
Thank you. Yes, I do. 3 weeks ago, I adopted a puppy, and how it all unfolded was quite interesting. I applied online and I couldn't submit my application. So I made a quick call and they said, well, we have 7 applications ahead of you. And we can't hold puppies. And I said, well, I need to travel. I take 2 ferries. So how will this work out? And anyway, how it unfolded is she said, just come here the next day at noon and you'll be going home with a puppy. And I was like, yay. So I went, and I didn't get the puppy I went for. I got her sister, which was interesting. Her name is Tallulah, Tallulha. And my question is, well, I'm wondering if she picked me, because it seems like a strange set of circumstances. And I have a second question. She's quite rambunctious, a puppy, chewing everything. And I know she's teaching me patience. But I have her in a crate and I leave her a couple hours every day because I don't want her to be a Velcro puppy. I want her to learn to be independent, and she cries and cries, and I don't make a big production. I just leave. I just come and go quietly, and she still cries, and it's just, oh.
It's tough.
Yeah. So I was just wondering if you are able to tap in and see if she really is in distress or if she's just.
So here's the thing about Tallulah. I've never seen a dog with these numbers. Good Lord, 3333 amplified. So it's 2 master vibrations of 33 side by side. And then it has to do with 2 balance, bringing balance into herself, and then finding the as above, so below in herself. And so what she's actually mirroring, and stick with me for a little bit, because this is going to be roundabout. She's mirroring the same experience you had when you embodied here on Earth, because Earth was not where you wanted to come. You felt like you got the cosmic bait and switch. So the same experience she's having right now is when you realize, I'm on Earth. Oh, come on, really? It's like that kind of experience, and like the disconnection. No, then I want to go back home. Then I want to go back. This isn't what I signed up for. That's not to say that she feels the way about your home. She loves being with you. She's your puppy through and through. She's just reflecting this cosmic sense of, this was not what I signed up for. This is different. Let me back, knocking on the door, let me back in. So what's happening is you and Tallulah are going to work together to reconnect to your cosmic roots, your cosmic heritage, your cosmic guides who are all around you. And in particular, it's interesting, I'm getting a lot of Arcturian energy that's surrounding you first, kind of holding you, being like, nope, keep it strong. And what's interesting about that is, had it been Pleiadian energy, they might be working with your emotions, but the Arcturian energy in terms of child rearing, they are more like Ferberize it, like cry it out, you'll be fine, and then we'll get to work. So your experience when you came here, you had Arcturian energy around you, and they weren't comforting you about being on Earth. They're like, no, it'll be fine, sort through it, and we'll get through. So Tallulah is going to help you connect back with not only the Arcturian energy, but the Pleiadian energy and the Venusian energy, which is the softer maternal feeling of the cosmic connection that you share. And part of that is so that you can anchor it here more strongly on Earth. Right now, we are at a point in our spiritual, biological, evolutionary development where we are getting a lot more attuned and connected to our galactic consciousness. That whole notion of disclosures happen. We connect with them every day. We just don't see them walking around like we physically expected them to. So you are here to translate those cosmic vibration, energy, and ultimately messages here on Earth. So between you and Tallulah, you guys are going to be using your voice a lot for light language, toning, and anchoring it in. So Tallulah may be pretty barky, but there's a reason for it. Both of you guys are anchoring in codes and energy through your voice, but you have a lot of that cosmic connection, and so does she. And she's reflecting back that like, whoa, I did not sign up for this. Why did I land here?
Okay, wow, that's a lot for me to process. I'll be listening to this again on the replay for sure. Wow, that's amazing.
Process. And then on the same element, the same way that when you came to Earth from your cosmic embodiment and then you ended up here, you needed to learn how to deal with the 3D reality, with the physicality of being human, with human patterns, dealing with, emotions and how they don't, they might be received differently in different places. Like there's a lot of misinterpretation here on the Earth plane in the 3D. So part of what you're doing with Tallulah is, of course, doing all the energetic stuff we talked about, but you also need to do exactly what you're doing, which is the 3D training. So positive reinforcement is going to be really important. And actually, as part of this package, there's a whole module on separation anxiety and mindfully going through it. It has how-to videos with step-by-step of how to create the space for them, putting on beautiful Reiki music in the background, always giving them something to do, tuckering them out mentally and physically first, but then also addressing what are some limiting beliefs that actually are tied into the separation anxiety. So just bottom line is, don't forget that we have to do the traditional training as you are, and then pair it with the energetic understanding so that then we can truly move through it together and understand the root cause.
Got it. Wow, that's wonderful.
Wow.
Thank you,
Kathy.
Denise. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you definitely want to go back and listen or watch this again, because there was a lot of info there for you and all of us, for everybody, right? So Yeah, good. Thank you. All right, we're gonna take one more right now before we'll talk about the package. So Jill, you want to unmute yourself, and then we're going to talk about the package, Denise, okay? And then we'll come back and do some more if we have time. Jill.
Hi. Hi, Denise. Hi, Alara.
Hi.
I always love seeing Denise. I learned so much, and I'm always like brought to tears with that story about the dog. Oh my gosh. So, as you know, I have Buddha the cat, who, he is my greatest teacher for sure. And he has allergy issues. I looked up the spiritual meaning of allergies, which is separation. And he was separated from his mother at 3 weeks, separated from his brother at 9 weeks. And then the allergies got really bad last year when I went on a trip for 2 weeks. And it's very interesting because you mentioned very early on in the call about stepping into your power and the third chakra. And you, Denise, I just read this last night. You told me that I'm connected to Buddha in my third chakra. And since I know, and I also read that it's about being in your power, the allergies. So I actually say to him, be in your power, be in your power. And I know that it's reflecting me back on me too. So I feel guilty because he's not getting better. And I've been getting like all this healing work done on him. So
I love that. Thank you, Jill. Thank you for always bringing amazing questions, and always, you're always well researched. You never come here with a question without having like looked into it, which I love, because as pet parents, it empowers us, right? That's exactly what they want us to do, is research and then filter through our own, lens, what makes sense and what doesn't. For myself, I do associate allergy issues with the third chakra. And especially being comfortable in your own skin, right? So, which is part of stepping into your power, right? When you're comfortable in your own skin, you feel like you can step into your power and be the highest version of yourself that you can be. And so with Buddha in particular, let's go back to his name, right? How fascinating, the Buddha, right? The Buddha, if we think back to him, he didn't have a lot of possessions, right? Buddha was this kind of life of, either or. That's what's coming through, the either or. Either I'm spiritual and I'm buying into that life and I'm going to be pious and be really connected, or I'm going to be, earthbound. I'm going to watch reality TV. I'm going to, drink my coffee. I'm going to have my martini. I'm going to do what I want to do. It's about combining it together. So bring it back so that you're comfortable in your own earthly skin, because here on earth, it's one of those few places where we get to do both. We don't have to choose between being this, energetic being that lives off light. We get to be the people who actually experience things. One thing that comes to mind is I remember I was getting a massage and there was a Pleiadian watching me, a Pleiadian guide. And I'm like, yeah, you can hop on in here and see what it feels like. And they were so excited. They're like, oh my God, I get to feel like what it goes on with my body. Very much like Ghost when, they would enter Whoopi Goldberg's body. But that's what it is. Teach him to feel comfortable in his body, comfortable without having to choose either or. And then for you, part of it too is when you do when you go that either direction where you're like, no, we're doing everything spiritually. We're going to do it right. When it's not working, then what happens? Oh my God, does this even work? Like, does this make sense? Have I bought into something that is a little bit of a scam? What am I doing? Like, I can't see proof. I can't see proof of energy. This feels a little weird. So it's really about feeling comfortable in your body and bringing the best of the 3D with the energetic and combining it. Because as humans, we need to feel comfortable in our own skin, and how some of it responds to the earthbound energy and some of it responds to the energy. So that's what's coming through. Yeah.
That's wonderful advice. And I have a question. You mentioned that the package has stuff about separation anxiety. Is that for dogs, or would it apply to cats too?
So it would apply to cats too, because it speaks about the second chakras, the sacred geometry of the second chakras, the archetypes associated with the second chakra, and limiting beliefs. And we know that limiting beliefs affects, it shapes our reality, it shapes our pets' reality. So the only thing that probably would not apply necessarily is like videos on crates, So like the hands-on, dog training videos. I have not got certified in cat training yet. I think they train us more than we train them, but the energetic aspect, you'd absolutely go through. You'd go through deeper with that. But with what Buddha's just really trying to wrap it all up with a bow is claiming yourself as the, what's he trying to say? It's not like the spiritual gangster, but it kind of is. It's like the sassy spiritual person, like the earthbound spiritual person who can do it all and doesn't have to choose. That's really what they're inviting you to do right now.
Wow. I mean, you always amaze me, but like, you're so clear and it's so profound.
You are. I read your energy. It's all coming through you. All these messages that come through with your pets are truly a testament to you guys and what you're filtering and working through in the energy with them. So I just get to translate it a little bit, and that's kind of fun.
Well, you are one excellent translator, and I'm so grateful. Thank you, as always.
Thank you so much, Jill. I appreciate it. It's always good seeing you.
It's nice to see you.
Thank you, Jill.
Holding
Great
it down in
questions.
New York City.
All right, so I want to take a minute and talk about the package, which is available at alara.8. Hold on, I have to write it down. alara.at/show/Denise11. I'm going to share my screen in 1 second. So, let me share my screen. Okay, here we go. All right, so Denise has this package A and package B.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's all sorts of wonderful MP3s and in package A, just 1 second, and a bonus, and then package B is everything plus a 30-minute personal session. Okay, go ahead, Denise.
Yeah, so because this is my first time on your platform, I wanted to create something that was really comprehensive and, really foundational information about the energetic connections we have with our pets. And what I also wanted to do is include samplings from different online courses. So I brought a module here, combined it with a module there, because I wanted to give you guys the full flavor of, when we connect with our pets, not only through training, but also energetically, kind of what's possible through them. Because it's so much more than just having a well-behaved pet and us learning a few lessons along their side. They help us, go to different realms, access new vibrations. So the first item is called Translating Your Pet's Behavior. And this is a recorded slideshow. So it's, audio, but there's also slides so that if you're more of a visual learner, you can follow along. And it just talks about this notion that our pets are as mirrors, right? And the different ways that we can translate their behavior through our chakra system. So that's a really helpful foundational way for us to understand how to translate their behavior and in the process, open up more to our own intuition. The next item, this one's really important. This is from my course, Healing with Chakras. This is a module about digging into the first chakra and building a solid foundation. So with this one, everything we do starts with the first chakra, starts with the I am. So we go into the energetic themes of the first chakra, the significance of 1 and 8 in numerology, the sacred geometry of the circle, which represents the first chakra, and then the archetype of the first chakra, which is that notion of going from victim to divine mother archetype. And then as far as the videos go, it's all about training on leash reactivity with your pet, and some fun exercises that you can do to desensitize them and even do with them whether or not they are reactive on leash. And on leash reactivity can look like anything from barking at other dogs or barking at bicycles to being really shy and too nervous on leash, or to being so excited to say hello to other pups that they just pull you in every direction. So this is a really good foundational course, both for us and for them. The third item is also from Healing with Chakras, and it's digging into the second chakra and separation anxiety. So this is really important this time of year as well, because with holidays, we tend to spend a lot of time with them, or on the other end, we're preparing to go be with friends and family or go to a lot of parties and dinners. So we want them to be independent and understand that myth of separation. We're never apart. As long as we're connected energetically, we're never apart. So this goes into the themes of the second chakra, balancing our needs with other people's needs, balancing our divine feminine and our divine masculine. We go into the 2 and 9 in numerology. We talk about the sacred geometry of the half circle and how that line through the middle creates separation, but it actually is just simply a boundary. It doesn't have to be a barrier that a lot of us as empaths set up. It talks about going from the martyr, the people pleaser, the self-sacrificer, to more of the empress archetype, where you step into that knowledge of who you are and what you're here to contribute. And then there's a lot of training videos to manage separation anxiety with your pet, and then also go through limiting beliefs about what's at the energetic core behind it. The next item, kind of perfectly we segue into it. It's an MP3 about journey to reconnection. So it's about going back and reconnecting with our own childhood, right? When we talk about separation anxiety, sometimes we feel separated from who we truly were foundationally as children. So this is about going back and connecting as a child to a beautiful pet that wants to join you. And it's worth saying that any of these journeys or courses, I've done them with people who have no pet, or maybe their pets have transitioned. If you've ever had a love for animals or an intimate relationship in your life, this all still stands. The next item 5, is a guided full moon journey, and this helps us release. This is about doing a full moon ritual, but it works any time of month, where you're releasing things that no longer serve you under the blessing of a beautiful silver full moon. And all of these guided journeys have music in the background, and they can be downloaded to your phone or your computer. So if you want to listen to them anytime, you can. The next item is clearing through animals, right? Every day we go through energy that's affecting and shaping our day-to-day, whether it's from our ancestral lineage, whether it's from our culture, our community, people around us, or even if it's our own. Our animals are always there to help us quickly clear our energy so that we can vibe as high, to our highest frequency that we can. And this PDF is a very quick process that you can do instantaneously, that the animals downloaded to me right before 2020, right before things kind of shut down and there was a lot going on in the energy. And I use this nonstop because it's just such a quick, easy process that they walk us through to just kind of clear out our energy without having to overthink it. Item 7 is how our pets are serving as portals. And this is one of my favorite kind of modules. Basically, once we've gone through the training, once we've released a lot of clutter, once we feel that we're vibing higher, now we're ready to use our pets as access points to go and explore different realms within ourselves. So go to the earth realm, understand the water realm within us, all the contacts that we have within us, all the wisdom, all the tools. And our pets actually take us to these realms, and we soar and we journey with them. And we're able to release what's no longer needed, and we bring back what we need. So very much as if we went on a trip to Paris and we brought back a postcard. Every time we look at that postcard, we are instantly transported back to Paris, the feeling, the smells, the energy. Our pets can do that for us, but with different realms, whether it's the realm of, the water realm and the mermaid, Lemurian existence, or it's something more cosmic, like our remembrance of our time in Sirius. They're able to, just like that postcard, get us right back to that place. So we don't have to go through all the long rigmarole of connecting to different realms. We get the shortcuts through them. And this teaches us how to do it. And then the next module actually puts it to practice. So you go with your pet and you journey into the earth realm. And Snake brings you there. The Red Rocks of Sedona bring you there. And you get to explore the earth realm alongside your pet and see what you learn and what you're ready to leave behind there so that you have more space and bandwidth here in your physical reality. I believe this is the final item, number 9. Oh, no, we got 2 more. Item number 9, this is a guided journey to align with your crystalline self. So once you've gone through those realms and you've, left things behind and brought new things in, now we can align with a higher version of ourselves. So this guided journey allows you to do just that. And then item number 10 is one that people really enjoy, and it's guided journey to meet your power animal. And so you walk along with your pet or, any animal companion, and you explore who your power animal is. And you can do this regularly. You could do this monthly, you could do this quarterly, you could do it on, the November 11th portal, but there's always going to be a power animal bringing, insight and wisdom and new skills and tools. This is something that our Native American brothers and sisters and Aboriginals really connected with and understood the power that the animal world held for us. So this helps you identify who your power animal is at the moment. And then the bonus item is when you sign up for this package, you are invited to join us for a monthly Pet Prana membership oracle card reading. And this is where at the beginning of each month, we get together, we pull animal oracle cards for the group. And then we do individual card pulls for each person who's joined and their pet. So everybody gets a mini reading. And I love this because it's very collaborative. So if you enjoy pulling cards yourself, everybody pulls for the group. It's just everybody chimes in and it's a lot of fun. And so if you signed up for this package in November, you'd be invited to the December oracle card reading group event. If you signed up in December, you'd be invited to the January one and so forth. So there's no expiration on when this happens. And so that is a whopping amount of information and new ways to connect with your pets in package A.
Absolutely. There's so much there. Oh my goodness. And so many journeys and so many ways to connect with the galactics, with, your power animal, your higher self, your crystalline self, there's your inner child. There's so much here for you all. Oh my goodness. So package A is $97. And of course, a 2 and 3 part payment plan is available. And then package B is everything in package A plus a 30-minute personal session with Denise. And what does that look like, Denise?
Yeah, so every time we have a 30-minute personal reading together, we get together. I pull the numerology on your name and your pet's name, which you will have provided me when you schedule it. And so we start off usually talking about the numerology of your name, your pet's name, the cross sections. It helps us better understand their tendencies, the roles that they play in your life. And then we basically answer any question you have. And we're able to connect with as many animals and energies as we like during our time together. And we can connect with pets who are a lot at your side, who have passed, who have transitioned, or even if you've never had a pet before, we can still do this and go deep together. And we tend to get everything from what your gifts are to your life purpose, to relationships, patterns that are ready to change. It's very much led by you. It's very conversational back and forth, and it's always recorded so that you don't feel like you need to take notes during it. You'll have access to the recording afterward that you can download and keep for posterity.
Awesome. And so that plus everything else is package B, which is $149. And of course, 2 and 3 part payment plans are available. And also please use the discount code TACS10, which is a gift from me when you purchase. That's amazing, Denise. I'm looking at everything that's there and I'm like, oh my goodness, there's a lot there. So that is all available at alara.at/show/Denise11. And so it's, it's yes, with your pets, but it's also you and your growth and where you're going and where you've been and healing and clearing and releasing and upgrading and vibing higher and, meeting your galactic families as well, tuning into them. Oh my goodness, there's so much here. It's like, wow. So 10 pieces plus a bonus, and then package B, everything in package A plus a 30-minute session.
I always think of it as, self-help for pet's sake, right? It's like when we grow, they benefit too.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness, I love it. Thank you. All right. So I think we have time for just a few more quick questions, if that's okay. So Gina, it's been a long time. Haven't seen you in forever, because I know you're always working at this time.
Yeah, I just happened to be home and I'm so thrilled that I could tune in. My question is about my daughter's cat. We've never been a cat family. My daughter got a cat. She's living on her own. And I've met the cat twice and she's a sweet little baby. Her name is Violet. But I'm having a lot of anxiety over it because my daughter's bringing her home for the Christmas holidays and she'll be here for 2 weeks. So just want to see what you thought about that.
Do you have any pets at home that you're nervous about with engaging with Violet, or just you've never had a pet, so a cat before, so it's like what to expect?
I've just never been a cat lover, and she is a sweet little cat. Our dog passed away about 1.5 years ago, so we haven't had a pet in a while.
I love it. So your pet that passed away, your dog that passed away, he's actually thrilled that Violet's going to be there.
It's a she. Bella.
Oh, she. Okay. So Bella's very thrilled that Violet's going to be there, because it is, Violet is going to open your heart in brand new ways to new experiences. And part of it is opening your heart to love again another pet. So don't be surprised if after Violet's visit, you find yourself either volunteering to care for her while your dog travels or has something going on, or you decide, you know what, it's time to bring another pet home. But this is all about opening back up after Bella is no longer with you, and just being open to that experience. The fear, the nervous, the anxiety that you feel is very much, it's akin to what they're showing me when something really good's going to happen. That anticipation, it's not so much fear, it's more like anticipation, because things are going to change within you. Your heart's going to change, your heart's going to open wider. And so it's a little bit, it feels like nerves, it feels like fear. You know how in spirituality, they always say, unless it's a hard yes, it's a no. For me, it's the opposite. If it's a hard no, like no, that's a yes for me. So anytime I feel the like, I don't know, that's the yes. So that's what they're showing me a little bit of, is that like, okay, things are going to change and my heart's going to open. And okay. And then nothing will be the same after that. It's going to be, expanded. And that's what they're showing. So it's actually going to be a beautiful experience. It might not be what you expect, but it opens your heart and it gets you to that next step.
Thank you. That's lovely.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, good luck with that, Gina. And like I said earlier, I'm also not a cat person, but I found love with my son's cat, and I think she's just absolutely lovely, Lily Billy. And Gina,
if I can jump in, there's one more thing there that they're really kind of highlighting. So dogs oftentimes work more with our lower chakras, our emotions, our grounding, our energy in that sense. Cats tend to work with our higher chakras. So it's more about spirituality, exploration, using them as portals, going to realms. So that's part of what's the expansion for you. You're comfortable with the emotions, the grounded. She's opening you up more to that, the higher chakras. So it's going to feel different than Bella. It's not going to be, the same thing, but it's exactly what you need in this path, and it expands you, and there's no going back in the best way possible.
Awesome. Good. Thank you, Gina. Great. All right. iPhone. You want to unmute yourself? I don't know who iPhone is. Surprise caller. Yes. No, maybe so. Maybe not.
Yes, yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Thanks. It took a while to find the buttons, but yeah, there's this beautiful. I do have it on chat, and a beautiful. I don't know if you've read the message. Pepper.
Pepper.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So it's a beautiful poodle and
Maltese.
Yeah, mixed together.
Oh, okay.
So, did you see it?
I
Can
see
you read
it. It doesn't say pepper anywhere. That's why I was like, I don't know.
No. It's that's the name, Pepper. Yeah. So she's so in the synopsis, she's very funny, hilarious, full of life, so fast. It's like when you try to catch her on video, you just see like little movement, but you can hardly see her because she's so fast when she runs. So anyway, the thing is, she had to be fed. I can't feed her as much as I used to, though others feed her the right thing. But the thing is, I can't feed her because she is allergic to certain things. And so, but suddenly it seems as if she's found out that I still feed her a little bit, but now she probably understands why I couldn't feed her as much. So now she's the only one around who seems to appreciate my presence. So I'm kind of trying to find out what it is, what's going on in her mind in terms of, my presence around her.
And can you
And here, my location as well.
and can you tell me what your name is?
Yvette.
Yvette. Perfect. So, one thing that's really interesting about Pepper is as we pull the numerology on her name, it's a lot of repeated 75 energies, so the 7s and the 5s, and there's the palindrome, the 57 and the 75 side by side. So she's helping you all with the 7th chakra, which has to do with finding your piece in the bigger puzzle and your role of where you fit in and what you bring to the table, especially not only earthbound in your community, but also kind of, in the bigger picture of the energetic world, right? Cosmically, galactically, however you want to speak to it. And then 5, the speaking and really embodying it and speaking your truth. So what Pepper's inviting you to do, and it's so interesting because the one thing you talked about when she's on camera and she's like a flash of color because she's so fast, it reminds me a lot of UFOs and the way that they kind of flash through the sky and people are like, did I see it or did I not? Did I see it or did I not? Was that, could it be? And so a lot of what she's doing is it's faith, right? Faith that you know your role, faith that you have a role in the bigger picture, and the faith that you're critical in this bigger picture, that just like a puzzle, if there's one piece missing, it's incomplete. And she needs you to start speaking more about that aspect of life. More of the spiritual aspects of life, more about the mysteries of the universe, more about your connection with her. It's really about speaking what you know to be true about the mysteries of the universe. And it might not necessarily mean that you have to do that to a room full of people or on an iPod, but speak it to yourself. It's about you telling yourself where you fit in the bigger picture, because you need to hear it from yourself. Anybody can tell you. People in your life probably tell you all the time how wonderful you are, how you're necessary, how you've done this, but you never believe it unless you hear it from yourself. So that's what Pepper's reflecting back, is just how beautiful, expansive, and extensive you are, and how you need to hear it from yourself to truly embody it and believe it.
Oh. Whoa, teary-eyed.
And with your food, it's such an interesting parallel, right? Because it's like, what have you been feeding yourself? What stories have you been feeding yourself about yourself? So it's about, as much as you're worried about her nourishment, it's also being worried about what you're digesting. What are you bringing into your existence, your aura, your belief system? Because man, you are expansive, and she's an amazing little partner.
Okay. Can I ask you what that means, like being expansive, in just a nutshell? Just like give me an idea of what to work on. You're
multidimensional. This is not your first go around in this galaxy. So, you're here on Earth right now, but you've been, through many star systems. You've done a lot of work. You've been here on Earth with many different timelines they're showing. So like, this isn't your first rodeo. You would be the person, if this were a corporate world, you'd be like the senior executive. You're not the intern, but you keep feeling like you're the intern. You need to tell yourself that no, I'm actually in the corner office. I've been through stuff. I know stuff. I trust that I know stuff. So that's what she's bringing in as next steps for you.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Oh, wow.
Wonderful, Yvette.
Yes.
And there's something really pertinent there, by the way, because when we are really expansive, we usually have that self-doubt because we have the self-reflection, right? If we think about the concept of a con man, they speak, there's no doubt in their voice because they're not questioning themselves. It's almost like when they say something, no matter how outrageous it is, they get to the point where they actually believe it themselves. So there's no self-examination. There's no like, well, is that a true statement? Like going on in the background. Whereas when we are expansive beings, we know there's a million different realities, a million different ways to cook up okra, a million different timelines, a million different ways and perceptions to look at things. So we start feeling like, I'm doubting myself because I know so much. It's almost sometimes the less you know, the more conviction you have in things, and the more we question ourselves, it's because we know so much. So that's something that they wanted to share as well.
Oh, great. Thanks so much. I feel like so much better. I feel it in my stomach, which is a rarity. But yeah, thank you so much. And thank you, Alara.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Yvette. Yeah, that
All
was
right.
that
Yeah.
was amazing. I'm just so I don't know what the word is exactly, but not surprised, but I don't know. I mean,
They
the
go
way,
deep, right? It's like
yeah,
they're sitting in the corner, they're playing with a toy, they're doing things that you're like, you're bringing in those messages. But just like us, they have higher selves, right? So our higher selves bring in all these amazing messages, and then our 3D selves just do all sorts of silly things.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Gisela, amazed. I'm amazed by the quality of the readings and the information that's coming through you, Denise. I mean, obviously I experienced it myself too, you know, but still, it's like bringing it through for everybody the way that you're bringing it in. And it's like, it's different information. You have a different connection than a lot of the other animal communicators that I know. And I'm just like amazed by it. It's like, I'll be honest, I would never have thought about, when I'm looking at Timmy and Neo, I would never have thought about that they're helping me with connecting to the cosmos. You know, like that, my mind did not go there. Instead, it's like, okay, yeah, they're teaching me patience, that's for sure, right? And they're bringing me joy, you know, so that is for sure, you know, and bringing and helping me to be present in the moment, that's for sure. But I never thought that there was more to that, you know,
And that's kind of one of the big things they're doing right now. And it's a testament to where we've evolved to. You know, before they were really helping us understand our emotions and our limiting beliefs. And they've always held this galactic energy for us, but we might not have all necessarily been very ready for it. So they're the ones who, it's sort of like, if we're intuitive, if we're empathic, we might shut down around other humans. But the second it's about connecting with pets, we're like heart open, no problem. And they're the gateway drug, right? They bring us into, now, hey, meet the Pleiadians, now meet the Arcturians, now meet this, now know that there's 50 other layers behind there and things that we haven't even, dived into. Mm-hmm. They're always going to be the beacon energy holding, one step ahead for us so we can acclimate to it. Just like dipping our toe into a pool, it's got to be warm and we've got to do it slowly. They help us do that rather than just jumping right in. Because odds are none of us would jump into the deep end like that without them leading us.
Right. Beautiful. Yeah. Otherworldly is exactly, Safina, you're right. Otherworldly. Have they ever talked to you about animal suffering on this planet? It's a hard one to wrap my mind and heart around. Yeah. I don't like that at all. I can't even think about it.
And that's a tough one, especially because I'm exactly like all of you. I'm empathic. I love animals. The thought of that just sticks with me and it's with me. And I'm like, Believe it or not, I got called to help build a pet rescue organization, a nonprofit. And so in doing this, I had so much fear, so much trepidation, to the point of we were talking about before with Violet, it was oh, heck no. One of the most beautiful experiences I could have done, because what I got to do is do it on my terms. And I told the co-founder, and I said, if we're doing this, we're highlighting empowerment. We're putting out pictures and images of the after of how we each can contribute and help. So part of the suffering that we see with the animal companions in the consciousness is also to meet us where we are. The same way that I talk to pet parents when their pets are upset, right? Rather than saying, hey, snap out of it, pull yourself up by your boots, which a lot of us, experience. I say, before you even try to do training with them, meet them where they are. Literally get down on their level, hold their heart, put your hand on their back, be like, little one, that's hard. This was tough. I get it. That life was really close. Okay, but let's get through this now. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we empower and we shift the situation. And then we do the training. So a lot of the animal suffering is to meet us where we are, where our inner child are. So it's to show the heartache, because we're not able sometimes to identify it in ourselves or acknowledge that we went through that, because then we feel weak or we feel like we're victimizing other people or we're going to make other people feel bad. But if we can see an animal group and we can say, they did not deserve that, we're able to realize in ourselves, we didn't deserve that either. We were just as vulnerable, just as little. So in that journey, it's all about being able to recognize aspects in ourselves to show ourselves more compassion. And, they come with contracts. And I think that's one of the hardest things that I've dealt with is, hearing some of the rescue stories. I know, and they tell me, they're like, we knew this was going to happen. We came in, and we're also not so attached to our body. So if there's ever a moment we want to step out, we step out and then we come back in. Not a big deal. We're here to work with it. And we're not fearful. We don't hold the what if, we don't hold the, the traumas. We move on pretty quickly. So between, the empathy and the resilience, there is rhyme or reason to it, but it's difficult for us. Yeah. But we're empowered. We can create change. We can do things. Each of us has ways to contribute and help.
Oh, that's powerful. Thank you. Thank you for that question, Safida. It's so important. Like we've talked about so much, and then the readings brought so much forward as well, about the galactics, about communication with our galactic families and etc. And all the different realms. Is there anything that we didn't cover? Because like there was a lot on our agenda.
There's something that they want to say about that, because everything in the package, anybody who's joined, interviews that I've been doing across the years, there's a sequential evolution, right? So we start by clearing our energetic clutter, learning about the chakras, our emotional body. That's an easy place. We're all very emotional beings. We know how to do that. What they're doing is they're shifting our DNA, right? Mm-hmm. So right now we're at a point where we're literally upgrading our DNA to include, out of the 12 strands, 10 were disconnected. We're connecting back in our Pleiadian DNA strand. And our pets have helped us clear our energy, clear our clutter so that we're able to do that. So we are getting more multidimensional. That's part of the reason why we're connecting more with our cosmic energy, our cosmic brothers and sisters, because we're not that different from them. We're just, maybe a step behind of following them. But they're alongside us. The pets are alongside us. We're working through it. And we're truly just getting back to who we know we are. And that's the beauty of the pets. They help us up level, not only emotionally, energetically, but physically and biologically as well. And we have so much support in that process beyond what we see through our pets. They have their own little guides too. They have their own little connections, and we all get to do it together. So one thing I wanted to take away from this conversation is if you start realizing, you know what, my pet is mirroring my energy, or I see why that is happening. It's never about making yourself wrong. Basically, through our sacred contracts, we both decided to go through that karmic lesson. And rather than doing it separately, we're doing it as a group lesson, a group project. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing you're doing that is causing anything to your pet. They don't want you to feel guilt or shame about what you're going through. They're going through it alongside you, not because of you. And we're all getting so multidimensional. This is just the beginning.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's so beautiful. And I think we're so fortunate. We're so blessed to have this relationship with our pets, because they add so much more to our lives, to the planet, to all of our relationships, everything. They're such a gift and blessing. And I'm just so grateful that I feel like Neo chose me to be his mom. He chose me to come and rescue him. Well, I don't like the word rescue either, but like to adopt him from the shelter.
It was time. Yeah.
And so that was pre-planned. I mean, for sure. I mean, there's no question. And then Timmy, oh, poor Timmy. I think that was also like divine timing, the way that it happened. Right. And everybody thought, I mean, I haven't even shared it on anywhere on social media about Timmy because my husband didn't want to. But people thought we were crazy. Why did you get a second pet? You were crazy enough to get the first one. Why did you get a second one? And I said, well, because it was so cute when we saw his picture on the website, and then we went to see him, and it's like, oh, I couldn't just leave him there, knowing that he had issues, I couldn't just leave him there. And so I think, I wanted to give him a home where he would feel loved and accepted for the next few years that he has. I mean, he's already.
And Laura, let's point out the fact that what you did for Timmy with, a dog who might not have been for every home, and you wanted to bring him somewhere home where he felt loved, accepted for who he is. That's what you do with this platform. He couldn't have chosen a better mom, right? You are
Right.
about creating community, helping people step into, a blossomed version of themselves. So what a perfect match.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, thank you so much for saying that. I never even thought of it that way, but yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. Wow. But yes, it's like I just want the best for him for the last few years that he has, and just like I want the best for all of you, for every part of your life. I just want the best for you, whatever that happens to be for you. And I say that from my heart. That is not some sales gimmicky thing, It's like that's truly from my heart is what I want, and you all know that. So it's like, but yeah, oh, I never saw that connection. See, it's like sometimes we don't even see that about ourselves, right? So thank you, I appreciate that. And again, it's about wanting them to feel the love and acceptance, and also at the same time, I think I said this at the beginning, or I said this to you, Denise, but for me, it's important for me to express love. To receive love, absolutely, but it's also so important for me to express love, to show that, not to show, but to share my love, right? And so I get to do that with Timmy and Neil, like no problem. I get to do that with all of you. I get to do that with my husband, and it's if we can all just share a little bit more love to our family members, our communities, this planet, humanity, everything will change, right? Are you willing to be a little bit vulnerable to share your love, right? And so, it's a tough one, because for a lot of us, we've had heartbreak, right? We've had pain, and so we've closed off our hearts, right? And so then when we're willing to open our hearts up again, it blesses others, but it also blesses us so much. And so, I would love that blessing for you, to have more of an open heart and to receive love for yourself as you give love to others. Okay. Oh, I could go like, crazy with this. Like, oh my God, I'm so sappy.
Yeah. It's lovely. And, it mirrors the energy of our pets, and Cowgirl even popped on screen and said hello. So the pets pick up on it. So thank you for that. And thank you for creating this platform for us all. And we feel like we're in a safe path here.
Absolutely. And thank you for the work that you're doing, because it's like, it is so, so needed. It's not just the communicating with the animals part, right? But it's also about knowing, like, there's so much more possible for us, right? And there's so much more expansion available for us at this time. And we're all going through a lot of change. And the contracts that we have with our pets, it's not that they're doing something for us or taking something on for us, but they're with us to support us together, each other, as we're moving forward, right? So it's such a wonderful and different way of looking at it, right? So we are moving forward together with them, and that's the contract that we made beforehand. So there's no, I always said, I don't want my dogs, my pets, to take on anything of mine. I will deal with my own shit. It's like, I don't want them to take it on, because I don't want them to suffer. I don't want them to be in pain. I don't want them to be sick. I mean, I don't even know what I'm going to do if and when that happens, right? It's like, I don't even know. But so but I love the way that you said it. It's like they are coming here to support us and helping us as we move forward. They're also moving forward. So we, it's a sacred contract or agreement that we made to be there for each other, right? As we're moving forward. I just love that. That's so beautiful. And it just opens up another layer of that relationship that we have with our pets.
It's so deep. Absolutely. And I just want to say a big thank you to each of you also for sharing your pets, what's going on with you and your pets, because it truly is through the readings that we're able to get messages for everyone and take it from didactic, practical information to the kind of hands-on emotional meat of the messages. So this conversation would not have been as loving and beautiful as it was if it wasn't for each of you sharing. So thank you
Absolutely.
for bringing that to the conversation.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for, again, all the wonderful work you're doing. You're definitely going to have to come back, because I just love talking about all of this with you. Oh my God, I love your energy. It's just absolutely wonderful. And yes, thank you everybody for all your questions, because through the questions, all that cosmic stuff came out, right? We didn't talk about it before that. So all that cosmic stuff, all the connections, all the different realms and healing and what's possible came out through your questions. And how we're interacting with our pets through the different chakras, etc. All that came from your questions. We didn't talk about it beforehand, so thank you for that. It just, I'm like mind blown. It just opened up so much more for me and how I see, Neo and Timmy, for myself. So thank you. It was such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful conversation, experience, everything. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you again, Denise. And go back and watch or listen, please, because there's so much wisdom in this call. Just even if you don't have a pet, or even if, we didn't talk about your pet, there's still so much wisdom you can gain from each of the questions and from everything that we talked about. So please do. And of course, work with Denise, through her packages, package A or B, because I'm like blown away by the content of the packages, like what's in there. So they're both available at alara.at/show/Denise11. And you don't have to have a pet to work with these packages and receive from them and for them to be a contribution to you. Okay, so just know that there's so much healing and clearing and expansion available. All right, everyone. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.